it's just not right for it at the moment.
Are you confident then that this fight takes place in the summer, Frank? Are you confident of that?
But I'm not confident of anything taking place in the summer. I'd love to see it take place. Now, how can you be confident of anything? You know, it depends where it takes place. It depends whether we can get, you know, how many people you can get in venues. Depends if people can travel. We don't even know whether we can travel until the 17th of May. And it depends where it takes place, whether you can even travel to the place, to the site where it does take place. You know, in an ideal world, the best thing to do is get it on in the UK in the autumn, you know, August or something. That'd be the ideal situation, but financially that's difficult. But that would be the solution. But anyway, having said that, we're working hard and we're talking to various territories, but I can't guarantee nothing. Nor can anybody else either. Nobody can. Look, a massive event like the Euros, the UK are trying to get it, yeah, for the summer. What month we're in? We're in March, a couple of weeks away from April. They still haven't got it. They're talking about the Euros, a massive tournament. So they can't guarantee they're going to get what they're looking to try and get and bring it over here. And nor can we guarantee anything at this moment. All we can do is work towards ensuring that we can deliver. And we deliver it. We deliver when it's safe for people to travel and so forth, safe to go to the venues and whatever. So that's what it is. And it's a really pointless conversation to keep banging on about something that no one's got the answer to. If somebody comes in and says, right, here is X amounts, and we've had these approaches, but somebody comes in and says, right, we'll put up this site fee for you to bring the event here, but we can't do it to such and such a date. It's something we've got to consider. It's all about now us working, I keep banging on about, collectively between ourselves and keeping it to ourselves until we got something definite to announce. Because all this speculation, all it does is create a lot of uncertainty.
So you're similar really to what TYSON was saying the other week. Obviously his comments gained a lot of traction, but he was saying there's no certainty this fight happens in June, July, which there has been a rhetoric of, and you're on the same page, it seems like, as him.
I'm on the same page as nothing's until it's signed, until a venue's done, until the money's there and the venue's done. Yeah, there is nothing until it's done, and that's.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Frank Regulations and Frank, the C19 pandemic czar. Yeah, Frank Warren is now the czar of pandemic, apparently. Bojo, I think the announcement was made 2 days ago. Bojo has officially appointed Bob Arum, Tyson Fury, and Frank Warren in a trilogy. A three-way, they're both the chief czar of C19 now. That's as simple as that. Bojo appointed them. BBC announced it, I think, 2-3 days ago. Fury, Bob Arum, and Frank Warren are the czars of C19 policy. He's not a boxing promoter. Boxer? No. The czar of policy. Oh, on the 17th of May. You what? Frank's dropping. Bojo didn't even know these details. He's dropping. I swear down. Oh, well, May 17th, there's this particular. On May 17th, this particular segment of the law opens up. Yeah, I thought you was getting the fight on. And what I don't understand is, I really wouldn't mind if no one else was fighting. This kind of rhetoric was cool literally a year ago. A year ago, almost, 10 days, a year and 10 days ago, more or less, this kicked off. So a year ago, this was acceptable. Seriously, yeah? And to be honest, thinking about it now, AJ's only fought Pulev since. And I'm pretty sure we know unifications supersede mandatories. So, and if my mind remembers correctly, the AJ and Fury fight was being murmured about around this time anyway. It's been almost a year now, but you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll let you off. Let's forget about last year. We're now a year in. All the headlines, all the opening and shutting is behind us, in my opinion. The worst of it's over at this point. Everyone's tired of it. No one cares. Apart from a few goofy dons, no one cares. Not even a bit does anyone care. A year ago it was acceptable. Oh, it's new. You know what I mean? Oh, the Cabala's playing some new game. Let's all make a message about it. Let's all make videos about it. Now it's tired. Don't no one care. All of a sudden, the C19 czars, all in the video. Frank weren't talking this much policy a year ago. Now all of a sudden, the biggest fight in the world, which in theory should be relatively easy to make. Everyone wants this fight. I mean, if AJ and Pulev can get it on in Eddie Hearn's backyard, literally his back garden, in the Black Book's back garden, don't tell me that this fight can't get done. Oh, there's not enough money. Well, there is enough money. Because, again, if AJ can fight him... If AJ was worried about the money, yeah, he'd say, no, I'm not fighting Pulev. I'll fight whenever. Everyone else is fighting. UFC, Dana White. I mean, since all you man are having so many issues, yeah? Darren Till was fighting. Darren Till lives in the UK. So don't tell me that, oh, well, you know, UK and all this stuff. What? Bring Dana White in. Since you man are incompetent, and I know it's nothing to do with, to be fair, with incompetence, because Eddie Hearn can get it done. Eddie Hearn, I'll admit, he should have been a bit quicker, but whatever. AJ fought in 2020, facts. That's more than Wilder did. That's more than Ruiz did. That's more than Fury did. Proving Eddie Hearn can get it done. In fact, Eddie Hearn had Dillian White fighting. So, he gets it done. Team AJ's side get it done. No complaints, no czar of C19 policy. It's done. But even if you're struggling, bring Dana White in, because for some reason, he be putting on the biggest fights. Muktapa fighting. Habib fought in like April last year. Right in the thick of it. Dana White gets it in. He gets it done. He's got that American entrepreneurial attitude. A get it done attitude. Don't sit there whining. I'll admit, Dana White is a bit of a raging juicehead slaphead. But apart from that, he's alright really. I respect him as a businessman as such. I respect his game. He don't mess about. He gets it on. There's no running. There's no ducking. You're getting in there and you're fighting the best back to back to back to back. There's no C19. We're going to find a way. So if Dana White's found a way, what is the problem? What are we waiting for? What do you mean, policy? Oh, well, you know, this certain policy might get in the way. We just don't know. How does Dana White know? Dana White's been putting on pay-per-view cards back to back to back to back since the thing started. I think he missed about 8 weeks at the start. I'm pretty sure he had a card in May. It was the first one, April or May. So 2 months in, he was booming and hasn't looked back since. Record pay-per-view after record pay-per-view, taking advantage of everyone else sleeping. Dana White caught everyone else on their lap game. And I'm getting Frank Fisheyes keeps saying, oh, I'm tired of saying the same things. No, we're tired of hearing you, a boxing promoter, talking policy. If I wanted to tune into parliament things, I'd tune into it and hear them all cheering, hurrah, hurrah, all that kind of business. If I wanted to listen to that, I'd tune into it. Yeah, I think it's called Parliament TV. You know, this ain't one of them ones. Although I'll give Frank his props. I think Frank knows more about this than the politicians do, the way he carries on. He knows all the details, doesn't he? He knows all the different laws and all the different bylaws and everything in between, does Frank. And if you know these men are getting desperate. Yeah? When Frank has studied, I've never seen, for a man to study something nothing, like, the only reason Frank would know so much about this is to basically develop a detailed narrative. Frank is sitting there going through I bet he reads all the releases, all the legal stuff, and he's got it all in his head. Oh, well. Oh, what, AJ versus Fury? Oh, no. You know, line 2, paragraph 6 of this thing says that, and this mean, huh? Go to Saudi Arabia. There ain't no, like, let's not make out. That's what I don't like. People acting fruity. AJ went to Saudi or went to them UAE Dons, yeah, and got paid X amount. Yeah, it was before the thing, but they've made a whole island, Fight Island, in wherever it is. Dana White's got a Fight Island. Ring him up and say, yo, Dan, let me borrow that thing, or set your own up. Given how big this fight is, it can make your own little fight thing. Oh well, you know this in the UK. Did you know May 7th? Giving it all that. Like, just come out and say you don't want no smoke. Just not make out it's some big mystery and there's all the regs and all this and all the laws and we don't want it. Fury's shook to bits and they don't want no smoke. That's what you got to say. You haven't got to make out this, that, the other. You haven't got to get Tyan Booth on the payroll and get him. Oh well, AJ doesn't want it. You know what I mean? You haven't got to do all that. Get all the YouTubers say, oh well, it's actually AJ who don't want it. Just be honest. We don't want no smoke. So Frank, Bob Arum, and even, this is how you know it's bad, yeah? Frank's a businessman, so I kind of, it's certain, there's a level of acceptance if he wants to lose his head in all the law and legal disclosures about C19. But to hear Fury, and even worse, to hear John Fury, the convicted criminal, come out and start talking about regulations and, oh well, you just don't know about this regulation and that regulation and this law and that law and how the world's changing and you can't get a venue these days. It's bad. This is a bad narrative. I've never seen Fury and John Fury on their own. They contradict themselves every different way. So are you telling me it's a coincidence we've got 4 men, 2 of which are highly volatile, in fact even Fish Eyes, even Bob Arum, all 4 of them. You're telling me we've got 4 highly volatile, independent men out of nowhere coming with the same narrative, and you're telling me that's just by chance? There's not some conspiracy behind it. You're telling me it's not the fact they've sat down and Furious said, oh Frank, please Frank, find a way. I don't want to do it. Oh, please Frank, don't put me in there. Oh, you heard the recording there. Fury rang Frank up and begged him. Oh Frank, oh please Frank. Oh, again, that was the end of the call. Fury's begging Frank to not let him get in there with AJ, begging him. I feel a bit guilty, if the truth be known. We've seen Fury's pictures. His belly's out of shape. He said it himself. I did a video on it. Tyson Fury said he mentally needs a rest. All this, never mind fighting AJ. All the talk of it. He can't sleep. I made a video about 2 months ago telling you, man. I've spoken to people in Fury's camp. He can't sleep. He can't rest. Fury likes to be the man who's on the up and up and up, with no pressure. When he's laying in his bed at night, all he can think about is, it's inevitable. He doesn't want to be associated with AJ. He wants to be associated with bums. That's what he likes to do. Oh, nice and comfortable. He can sleep easy knowing he's got Wallin up next. When you've got AJ on the brain, it ain't the best. He can't, no matter what no one says, he can't deal with it. And I have to kind of nod my head to Fury, to be fair, because at least his half attached himself to AJ. Wilder wouldn't even get that far. You know what I'm saying? So there are levels to this game. Wilder's at the very bottom, no doubt, because he wouldn't even sign the 2-fight thing. No, although neither of them matter. Neither of them are going to get in there by the looks of it. However, I guess there is a certain level to it. At least Fury, he half tried. He's tried and he's broken. That's what happened here. I do believe at one point in time Fury thought he might be able to mentally handle it. He signed the thing, and now no, it's too much. I need a rest. I'm broken. Can't take it. And let's not, YB, you're taking the Michael now. No, that's what Fury said. I can't do it. I need a rest. I'm stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Too much stress. That's what AJ does. They see and the thing is as well, what's important here to note is, Fury isn't some independent party who just don't know what time it is when it comes to AJ. He himself went on Bruce Bunce, was it Steve Bunce, Bruce Bunce, some Don called Bunce, went on his TV radio show and said, this amateur is the business. And that was an amateur. That was AJ 10 years ago. Fury was a 5-year seasoned pro. All the seasonings Fury had. And AJ whooped him all over the place. Back digging away. Yeah? Digging away he was. And do you think Fury don't know that? And Fury, I've never heard Fury be so honest before. He said, Steve, I wouldn't lie to you. If he was no good, I'd tell you he was no good. He gave me a good whack. And he nearly hit me for 6. Yeah? And then afterwards, I think a few months later, he said, well, actually, I started digging him. I think it was a few years later, actually. Oh, well, I think it was with Coogan. He said, oh, well, actually, no, that happened, but then a few minutes later, I started digging him to the body, and he started folding. All right, then. Yeah, you didn't mention that at the time, though, did you? Isn't it amazing how history actually changes over time? You got whooped, and then 6 years later, when you realised you were actually going to have to fight him, you tried to, oh, well, actually, no, I started digging him to the body, and he started, no. Yeah, because if you schooled him like that, you wouldn't have gassed him up in the first place. You'd have said, yeah, he's an alright amateur. In your mind, you'd have been thinking, yeah, he's alright, but I dug him to the body and he folded. That's not what you said. You said he worked you all over, good and proper. Gave you the good and proper on the cobbles. 100% confirmed. Anyway, fish eyes. You've heard it out the horse's mouth there. The man says to him, "Is the fight gonna happen?" No, I'm not. No. Are you? How confident are you? Are you confident of this fight happening? Fish eyes says, "No, I'm not confident of Jack. I'm not confident of Jack happening," and then proceeds to go on some next rant, some next details of all the different, whatever you call it. I'm trying to think of a good word for legal business, but I've used regulation so much. That's an overused word. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. End of the day, Fish Eyes goes on about a 5-minute rant rather than just saying, if they wanted it, yeah. Notice this: when people want a fight, for example, Joe Joyce and Usyk, and this is another amazing proof, yeah. Proof they don't want the fight. Joyce versus Dubois. How often did you hear Frank talking about different regulations and all the problems? Don't hear it. Didn't hear him mention a peep about it. Joyce versus Usyk. Yeah, Alexander Usyk's. When have you heard Fish Eyes? The same man, Frank Warren, is involved in Usyk's versus. Is involved in Joe Joyce versus Alexander Usyk. When have you heard that same man, Frank? Why isn't he talking about regulations getting in the way of that one? Isn't it amazing that is? Same sport, is it not? It's not as if we're talking about, oh, well, YB, Usyk versus Joyce is on the moon, so it's kind of different area. No, exactly the same sport, exactly the same situation. Frank's all over it. Oh, we want that fight. Oh, Usyk isn't contacting us. Rah, 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 rah. Wow. Wow. Exposed himself. What a YB exposed him. No doubt. Anyway, it's a long enough video already. Fish Eyes, Theory, everything in all them man there, all the czars of C19 policy are shook. And he said it himself. The fight ain't happening. No. IFL have done so many interviews begging Team Fury for a bit of positivity, begging them for some sort of assurance, every single opportunity. No, not happening. And I'm mad at Eddie Hearn for spilling the beans and exposing us. Listen, think about it, yeah? Bob Arum, when it comes to Errol Spence and Crawford, all you hear is publicity about it. Back and forth, this, she said, he said. All of a sudden, that same man, Bob Arum, and even Fish Eyes as well. Fish Eyes isn't private about anything. He loves giving it the exposure. He loves talking it up. All of a sudden, it comes to AJ and Fury, the most public fight. From two fighters who allegedly want it. Fury allegedly wants it. And that's what you've got to remember as well. Each camp is responsible for their own fighter. So Eddie Hearn is responsible for AJ. Eddie Hearn's public with it. He wants it all out. Full disclosure. Team Fury has 2 promoters, and not one of them wants it out. In fact, they're avidly against it, going in on Eddie Hearn, talking about, well, you know, his violated contract and his in breach of contract. Oh, do you want the fight or not? Why are we getting so technical? Why are we getting so technical about COVID? About C19 regulations? Why are we getting all so technical about contract and, well, you've breached 16.1, you know, all this bit. Actually, you've breached lines, giving it all the lines and all the breaches. Are you trying to make the fight or not? What does it matter if someone's talking about it? These people are shook. And if you disagree, then speak for you. Your IQ is about 10. Simple as that.